It is summer in the greater Boise area. It was about 112 yesterday and it'll be probably 107 today. I'm the principal for Greater Boise Property Management, one of the most respected property management companies in the greater Boise area. And we manage single-family, duplex, and quadruplex homes all the way from East Boise through West Caldwell. So the weather this weekend gives me a chance to talk about air conditioning. And so it's Saturday night, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and the telephone rings, and it's a tenant, and they say their air conditioner doesn't work. What do you tell them? Well, I asked one owner, and she said, have them chew on ice cubes. That's what we did. Well, that might have worked a couple of generations ago, but that would not go over well in today's generation. So I called the guy on top of the list for my HVAC service people, and he didn't answer his phone. Well, so I called the second guy, and he did answer his phone, and he said he would give the tenant a call and go out and look at the situation, which he did. And he called me back about 10:30 and said that the air conditioner, the outside unit, the compressor, had been plugged up with weeds and cobwebs and leaves, and had overheated, and the compressor motor had gone into thermal overload and shut down. So he cleaned it all up, and by that time the compressor had cooled down, and he turned it all back on, and it worked. So here is a situation where if we'd done periodic maintenance, we would have had all of that cleaned out, and we wouldn't have had that 8:30 on a Saturday night call. But for Greater Boise Property Management, when it's 112 or 107, and actually if it's over 100, we consider that worth a weekend rate, and it's worth being a preferred customer for HVAC people so that they can actually go out and fix the air conditioners in the summertime, furnaces in the wintertime, and we go to the top of the list. Just one more property manager story on air conditioning. And so Sunday morning, we get a call about 11:30, which I don't take until after lunch. I call the tenant, find out what the situation is. I call the HVAC list, and the guy on the top answers the phone, and he says, certainly I'll go out. And so he goes and sees the tenant, and what he finds there is that there's a big ball of ice, and which means that the freon is low. So he fills the freon and melts the ice and gets it all back up and running. Everything is going fine, but we get a return phone call, get a call later in the day, because the tenant smells a really bad smell. So the HVAC guy goes back out, and he finds that some of the water has pooled in the ductwork and is causing a really bad smell. So he dries it out. So 2 out of the 3 calls we received this weekend could have been alleviated with periodic maintenance. So lessons learned, or let's say relearned this weekend: you need to have a 24-hour maintenance line unless you want to be interrupted at 8:30 on Saturday night or mid-morning on Sunday, etc. 24-hour maintenance line staffed by people who can answer the phone, who know the service people, and they can walk the tenants through issues that may not need to have a service guy go out. Another thing is that you need to set tenant expectations of what an emergency is and isn't at the time they sign the lease. So somewhere in your lease documentation, you need to make sure that they understand what is an emergency. And then you need to either meet or exceed those standards as far as the tenant's concerned. And lesson number 3 is you need to do periodic maintenance. It saves you money in the long run, and it saves hassle factor for tenants and property managers and service people. Owners too, for that matter. But do periodic maintenance. And you really need to be a preferred customer for your service people. That means you need to pay them on time, work with them, so that when you get a call on Saturday night, they're willing to go handle that with the tenant for you. This time of year, this last weekend, they had a lot of work that they pushed off in order to work on my tenants. I really value that, and I go way out of my way for that. And the tenants don't know it, but that's why we have such a high rating with our tenants. So it is summer in Boise, and it'll be winter in Boise soon. Probably too soon. And if you've got an A-class property and you want an A-class tenant, you have to treat them like an A-class tenant, which means you need the systems in place to be able to respond and provide them the housing that they expect as due an A-class tenant in an A-class property. If you'd like some help, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you about it.